Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Football Manager 2019 with Zebu Nation. We are back again with FC Cincinnati, ready for Game 2 of Major League Soccer. And today, that pits us against the Columbus Crew, our in-state rival. This is outstanding. You know, the Crew were saved last season. They got a new ownership group that's going to keep the team in Columbus. That's good for them, and that's good for us because it means we have a built-in rival within MLS, and we're going to kick that rivalry off today. Columbus Crew in Nippert Stadium. We'll see. Is this a sellout? I don't know. Before we get to the game, though, we got a couple of inbox here. Michael Barrios is finally healthy off the, well, he wasn't on the injured list, but he was injured. So he's going to be around in some capacity today. Chris Clute signed a new contract, so that's good. That frees up our contract situation that we were having. Also, we have Zendejas went out on loan. We have an email from that somewhere. Boy, I didn't realize I'd gone through that many emails. But anyway, we had a player named to the Team of the Week. DeVries, our rookie, played so well in that first game. Goal and assist, 9-something rating. So he was outstanding, and he got recognized by the league. And then there was one more little email that went out. Season ticket sales. 18,000 season tickets sold for this season. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good number. Because if we keep winning, that number will get up to around 20 or 22,000. Like I saw that happen with LAFC. The same sort of progression happened. So when we move into our 25,000 seat stadium, we should have around 21 or 22,000 season tickets for the season. So that's an outstanding way to make a profitable team, is to have nearly as many season tickets as you have seats in the stands. All right, but we're doing things a little differently right now because we got a waiver draft to get to. So we're going to get straight to our match today against Columbus Crew. They've got John Kempen in goal, Mailing, Domingos, Mensah, Maloney on the back line, Jose Rios in the midfield. Is that Jose Rios? It is. No, it's Juan David Rios. All right. Anyway, Sawyer's Will Trapp, captain in the midfield, Merrim, Garduño, who looks like a regen or a rookie or something here, 22 years old. He looks like a super draft pick. And indeed he is. Columbus Crew super draft pick, so we'll see how good he is. And then Zardes up top as their striker. Meanwhile, we've got Hudson. He's back in goal, our number 1 overall draft pick. Going to be starting at goalkeeper. Going to make his debut one game late, but that's fine. Defense, we have Romney in at left back due to the injury. Marquez, Okogu, Clute, still the same back line. Otherwise, Alash Delgado still in the midfield. DeVries on the left. Crispim and Adi. But now we've brought in Ledesma. His name is Ledesma. It's been pointed out in the comments that that's how you pronounce his name. Not necessarily as many L's and E's as I put in there. So we'll try to make that change. I can't promise you that in the heat of the battle we're going to call him Ledesma or not. But Ledesma with more of an ah sound. Ledesma. Anyway, doesn't make any sense to me, but if that's how his name is pronounced, who am I to say otherwise? All right, let's get to the dressing room. Pep talk. Go out there and give those fans their money's worth. No. It's supposed to be a rivalry game. It's supposed to be all about the fans. ASCII assistant. Let's go. Strikers. Get out of here. Forwards. Get out of here. How's their fullbacks? Looks like both their fullbacks might come forward. So we'll mark them a little bit. Maloney looks like he might be coming forward even more, so we'll close down on him as well. There we go. Tunnel talk. How much of a boost is Pedro Santos' absence to your chance of winning? Any team would miss Yeah. How pleased are you with Chris Klute signing a new contract? Very pleased, because that frees up our whole contract issue. I had to give him a 3-year deal, which I didn't necessarily want to do, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And we can always waive him if necessary. So we are, of course, in the blues. Columbus in the bright yellow. I forgot to load the face pack. I've been trying to download that thing. I think I've got it downloaded now. I just haven't installed it. Same with the jersey pack. Got to get that installed. I got to find a jersey pack for Cincinnati. I don't know if one exists, but we'll see. We'll try it out. In the meanwhile, here's our first highlight. Hudson bombs one down field. Intercepted. Zardes trying to make a run down the middle. He does. Sends it wide, though. He got challenged by Hudson. Not a great goal kick to start out Hudson's career there. He kicked it straight to Columbus. Here we go. Ledesma back in. He curves one towards the goal. Alash can't quite get there in time. He does knock it out. But, man, that was nearly another free kick goal. Good save by Kempen. Nice curving pass by Ledesma. Here's DeVries. Sends one in from the corner. There's Ledesma. Did I hear a whistle? I thought I heard a whistle. Foul or offside or something. I'm just hearing things. I guess. The crowd goes wild. DeVries delivers to Ledesma. Boom. Another early lead. 22 minutes into the first half. We're up 1-0. It's going to be real hard to get DeVries off the field. I'm telling you, this kid is pretty good. You know, when Michael Barrios, he's going to be back next game. We're probably going to play him next game. He's going to be on the right-hand side, and then the plan was to put Ledesma on the left-hand side. But this DeVries kid, he's playing well. He's got some speed, acceleration, got some talent with the free kicks in the corners. I don't know. I don't know that he compares that well with Ledesma. I mean, Ledesma is better. Technically, anyway, he's better. But, you know, we'll see. We got plenty of time. Ledesma is 30 years old, so we got time for DeVries. But he is 22. He's a little bit of an older rookie. So if we get him in there playing now, he can be improving as he plays. And by the time he's 24 years old, he'll be fully, you know, ready to go. So I don't, you know, it's a hard choice because he's 22 years old. All right, let's just go to the dressing room. No need to make any changes. I'm happy with your performance. Keep it up. Let's end the pep talk. Yes. And go. So, yeah, that's the kind of roster moves I always make. You know, if there's a young guy who's somewhere close to the ability of the older guy, and he's got potential, I'll put in the younger guy and say, see adios to the older guy. It's just how I do. It's a corner kick. Hudson makes the initial stop. Can't corral the rebound, and Garduño gets the rebound goal to tie it up. Hudson not looking as good in goal as Zendejas. I mean, that was a good initial stop. It bounced off of his teammate there. Under pouring rain. Oh, here we go. They're showing the... I mean, that was like the most unnecessary VAR I've ever seen. But MLS does love the VAR. We're getting shots on goal, but they're coming from too far out. That's no good. Alash has been injured. So we're going to have to start testing our depth right away. Nick Bessler. Get in there at central midfielder. We do have pretty good depth in the midfield. So that's fine. We got other options as well, sort of, you know, once we take a look at the roster, you can see we got some other interesting options waiting around also, if we need help in the midfield, but I don't know that we do. 62 minutes and counting. Mailing to Zardes. Can we get the steal? There's Bessler with the steal. Ledesma can't get the rebound. Rios settles it down for the Crew. Mailing. Nice steal by Bessler. He's going to start the attack. Gets it wide to DeVries. He wins the ball. Takes it out wide. Can he get the cross in? He's got Adi in front. Look at this kid, man. He's on fire. We can't take him out. I mean, this was a great win here. Beats the midfielder, or the fullback, whoever that was. I think it might have been the fullback. And sends in a great early cross to Adi, who finishes. He's trying to win a spot, that's for sure. Second round draft pick. Carduno with the free kick. Oh boy. We're going to see a lot of that this year. So many free kicks being scored. Now, on the one hand, it's funny, but on the other hand, I think I would prefer this. I would prefer free kick goals in abundance to free kicks being basically useless. Like, I'd rather not, in FM18, I would have rather not had a free kick than had a free kick. I would have rather just give me the rugby option where I can just start the ball in a scrum or something. I'd rather do that. Kloot is injured. We can't take another injury at fullback. We are desperately thin at fullback. And that was part of our roster situation we'll go over after this game. DeVries, Bessler, Delgado trying to move it downfield. Bessler bangs it ahead. Ledesma not necessarily in position for that ball. Here comes Columbus on the counterattack. They're just banging it forward. Romney, let's go, buddy. There we are. Let's get a move on. He just bangs it downfield. That was terrible. Zardes looked tremendously offside. But apparently he was not, and Hudson was forced to make a big stop. The first big stop of his young career. Mei Ling sends it in over the goal. 69 minutes. Are there any subs we should make? Kloot is dying out there. Our only right back currently, Hector Juarez, 22-year-old draft pick. Physically, he's very good. Nice jumping reach, nice size, 6'1". Good tackling, not so good on the marking end, and currently his abilities are fading. Not so happy about that, but suppose he's better than a 6.4 ranked Chris Kloot, who's also injured. This is going to cause us some issues. So we've already made 2 injury-related substitutions. Let's go. 71 minutes. Let's give the team a little bit of a shout. Let's just give them some encouragement. Bessler's a little nervous. Oh, no. So we fired up DeVries and Hudson, the rookies. Fired up. Marquez and Crispum, the veterans, frustrated. Bessler still nervous. Here we go. Key highlight here, 82nd minute. Throw into Crispum. DeVries wins another ball. He's got Adi charging towards the front of the net. A little early for that cross, but DeVries comes back and wins the ball again. Bessler. Bessler takes an ill-advised shot. Here comes the Crew on the counterattack, but the ball is stolen at midfield. Romney drops it all the way back. Hudson's going to reset the attack. Kugo forward. Delgado. Let's see if we can generate something here. Like I said, this is a key highlight. If somebody gets a goal here, they're probably going to win the game. DeVries, good pass up to Crispum. Crispum has 2 men running in front of net. There's Adi. There's the goal. The big target man can't be stopped. Crispum takes the nice pass from DeVries out wide. Gets the good cross into Adi, who it's just a mountain there in the middle of the goal. Can't stop him. All right, 85 minutes. Delgado's a little tired in the midfield, and by little I mean a lot, down to 59%. But 6 minutes of added time is quite a bit from all those injuries. Here's a free kick. Rios sends one in. Juarez, leaping ability, serves him well there, and he skies above the pack. Here's Ledesma, gets it forward. Adi wide open. Not a great pass. He just sort of chips one towards the goal. Slightly better pass from Ledesma, and that could have been another goal. But he is a little lacking of match sharpness because he's been injured for quite a while. Still got a 7.7 rating, though. Our forwards playing very well. Everybody up front played very well. There's full time. All right, I was about to look at the clock, but no need. The whistle ends right there. Pretty good game. 16 shots, 9 on target. Better than 50%. Only 10 fouls, 54% possession. Playing pretty well. That was a good game. Look at all those Columbus fans in the corner. That's outstanding. I wonder if this was a sellout. Probably should have looked at that. But yeah, great game. Adi with 2 goals, 8.8 rating. He was a tower in front of goal. They couldn't get him out of there. Outstanding. All right, dressing room. Pep talk. Well done. Great win. There we go. Continue. All right, so I'm going to pause here. Take a look at the standings. Look at that. 2-0 Cincinnati on top of the Eastern Conference. Everybody else in the conference is, 1-0, I guess. Or 1-1. All right, so some people still got some games to play. But for now, we're number 1 in the conference. And that's all that counts. We're only talking about the now. All right. But speaking of now, let's talk about later. We're going to get to the waiver draft and try to sort out this roster. And then we'll go down our roster in depth. So hang on just a second. Pause. Okay, we're back to the waiver draft, the March waiver draft, and I gotta tell you, it's looking like a pretty good one. I mean, I told you that I thought there would be some pretty good players available, and man, oh man, was I right. Look at these players available. Roman Torres, Sean Johnson, Chad Marshall, Zach Steffen, Andre Blake. There are 3 top quality goalkeepers available in this draft. I don't know why teams would let these players go for nothing. Why would you? Okay, so Andre Blake, he makes quite a bit of money. $500,000 a season is pretty high. It's not that high, though, especially for a top quality keeper. He's got a contract until 2020. Maybe he wanted out. Maybe he didn't want to play, but you trade this guy. You transfer this guy. You get something for this guy. You don't just waive him and let him go. And that goes double for Zach Steffen. Look at this guy. He's only 23 years old. He's only making $170K. He's an American. There is zero reason to get rid of this guy. I don't care if he doesn't want to play for you at all. You don't waive this guy. You get some value for him. So that's why I'm thinking about picking him up. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, but you just drafted a number 1 overall goalkeeper in the super draft. Why would you then go get Zach Steffen? Well, that's a good question. And I don't have a great answer, but he is better than the guy we drafted. He's only 2 years older. He makes, the Generation Adidas contract our draft pick has $144,000 a year, so that's, $26,000 less than what Steffen's making. And Steffen is, some people look at Zach Steffen as like the future goalkeeper for Team USA. That's how good this kid is. So it would be like really weird to pass him up. We do have the first overall pick. Now, it comes to a matter of need, and what we really need is we need a fullback. Keegan Rosenberry is available, 25 years old. He's a pretty good player also. Also only 25 years old, making $128,000. We need this guy. I mean, he's not the greatest fullback ever, but he's really good. Especially, you look at his teamwork and his work rate. You look at his skills. He's got 12s up and down the board for a lot of things. His physicals aren't tremendous, but they're good enough. And like I said, we got a hole in the roster right now. And a lot of these other guys we don't necessarily need, even though they're great players. Jose Aha, we keep thinking about drafting this guy. He's a beast. 17 jumping reach, 15 heading. He would be, he would patrol the back lines for us, no problem. Still only 25 years old. He makes $240,000, but we can afford that. That's no problem. I mean, Matarrita, winger, he's a really good player. We don't necessarily need a winger either. But man, there's just so many good players available. So I'm of two minds. One is just draft like who I think will be the most valuable player. We also have this weird guy, Justin Glad, 22 years old. My scouts rate him as a wonder kid. Look at this, 4.5 stars for both ability and potential. That is wonder kid territory here in MLS. He doesn't look like it. I mean, he looks pretty good. Central defender, he's 6'1", 14 pace is really good. 13 jumping reach is sort of average. I mean, his mentals are okay. No real deficiencies, but flair, but who cares about that? Technically, he's pretty good also. 14, 13, and 13. 22 years old, but he's making $365,000, so that's kind of expensive for a 22-year-old. But still, he's available. That's the problem. And we only have 2 draft picks. We got the first pick in each round. So what I might do is I might pick Rosenberry for need, and then just try to trade with everybody and see if anybody will trade their pick for me. And then if somebody does trade the pick one of these goalkeepers, probably Stefan if he's available. I don't know. I'll go through and see who I can get and what I can do. I mean, look at all these really good players. 4.5, 3.5 star guys. Hutunji, another monster on the back line. 6'5", 17 jumping reach. Not quite as good as Aha, but still a monster. So many good players. Now, the key to me actually being able to scout these guys was that prior to roster cutdown day, like that week before roster cutdown day, I went and I did I got a team report on every team in the league so that my team report was up to date. And it looks like I get to keep that team report for at least 2 weeks, so that's good. So before every draft, I would highly recommend doing that. Just do the team report on every team like a week before the draft or 2 weeks at most before the draft so that you can get a scouting report on a lot of these guys. Now, there's still like half the draft that we don't have scouted. Some of these guys I know are pretty good, but do I really want to, go out on a limb and draft some of these guys? I don't know. I've only got 2 picks left. But here's Leardom. He's pretty good. There's just so many good players available. Clint Irwin's available. Raheem Edwards, guy that we picked up last year. I mean, he's not great, but recognized his name. Zach McMath is okay. I mean, a lot of these guys are good enough. Eric Miller, there's a guy from our draft list here. Another right defender, a guy we could use. 6'1". I mean, he's pretty good too. Only making $106,000. Man, he might even be better than Rosenberry. So that's wild. He's a little older, but not by much. So I don't know. We got a lot of choices to make. I'm going to try to make some picks and, see if we can trade with some of these other teams. So I'm going to do that, pause, and be back. Okay, we're back, and I cheesed it, okay? Look, I cheesed the draft. I'm not proud of what I did, but I did it. I totally and absolutely just, made a mockery of the draft. So what I did is, with the first pick, I picked Zach Steffen, the goalkeeper. And then I just proceeded to just offer everybody like third round pick and $50,000 in allocation money for their picks. So I did that for the next two teams. All right. And they took it easily. Third round draft pick in the super draft and $50,000 in allocation money. They were all over that. So I picked Eric Miller and Jose Aja. And I figured, okay, that's it. I picked 3 players. I was only supposed to get 2. I picked 3. I'll go to my second round pick, which would be 4 players out of this draft, which would be pretty good. I mean, that's pretty cheesy right there. Everybody else in the draft passed. All these good players, all these really good players, and everybody in the league passed on them. So I got to my second round pick. Keegan Rosenberry was still there, even though I'd picked Eric Miller because I thought Eric Miller was a little better value. So I picked Rosenberry. And then the 2 teams that I traded with, because they didn't technically pass, they were still there in the second round. So I figured, you know what? I might as well throw on some extra cheese, a little double cheeseburger action. I traded with them again, this time for 4th round picks. And I picked up Kiri Shelton and just threw a little Justin Glad in there for fun. I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford all these players. I think I can. I know I have spots on on the roster for these guys. That's not a problem. It's just a matter of, can I fit them under their salary cap, which I probably can do. So I may have just turned FC Cincinnati accidentally into a juggernaut. I don't know. I may have just caused all kinds of roster issues. But this is something that I think SI's got to look into a little bit. What I'm worried about is that they'll look at something like this and say, oh, he cheesed the draft by trading. Let's make it so the teams never want to trade. I feel like that would be their example of this. They would just say, no, we'll never let them trade these picks because then people can cheese it, instead of saying, well, how about they actually try to fit these players into their roster, because these are really good players who should not be leaving for free. Anyway, that's a little mini rant. So I'm going to go and I'm going to see if I can sign these players. And if I can sign the players, then we'll look at the roster and see what sort of a mockery I've made of the league. But we're going to pause it again just because I wanted to show you this. Oh, the way I did it, by the way, is I just made my pick. First pick, I just hit draft on the guy that I wanted. And then they've added a little button over here. This is handy for this year for FM19. Make offer for draft pick. So whoever pick is up right now, you can make an immediate offer and say, make an offer, and they'll bring up the little trade window, and then you can pick what you want. They won't say what they want. You just got to make something up. So usually they'll take draft picks. So I just picked a draft pick and $50,000 in general allocation money, which I have like $1.2 million, so that's no problem. And they took it immediately. So there you go, a little helpful hint. If you want to cheese the draft, that's how you can do it. But we're going to pause for now. Okay, we're back. And I was able to fit all these guys into the roster. Here they are. Here's the 6 guys that I picked. I had 6 spots available on my current squad because of all the guys that I let go earlier in the season. I have plenty of salary cap. Not a problem. I'm still under the salary cap. And one of the reasons I'm still under the salary cap is that I didn't quite take all the best players in the draft. I took the best value players. So, for example, Zach Steffen. There were 3 incredible quality goalkeepers available. I took the guy with the lowest salary, Zach Steffen. Same with just about all of these guys. $240,000 for a veteran central defender isn't bad. Rosenberry, $128,000 for what this guy is. Amazing. Kiri Shelton, $120,000 again. Super cheap. The one sort of expensive dude, Justin Glad, for a 22-year-old central defender, $365,000, is a bit much. but I was looking at possibly selling him on anyway, just because he's got that sort of wonder kid tag. You might as well see if you can trade him and get a couple of $1,000,000 for him or something. And then Eric Miller, $106,000, the least salary of the group, and he's an excellent player. So easy to fit these guys into the roster the way I manage the roster, because I didn't go out and sign a bunch of free agents and all that stuff that I did with LAFC and made all those mistakes. Because I've sort of built this from the ground up with good quality contracts, I was able to do this no problemo. Also, I don't have a lot of internationals, so there's no problem that a couple of them were internationals. None of them were designated players. None of them were off-budget players, so none of that stuff was a problem. So we can just confirm our selection, and that is good. We can welcome all these guys to the team and all that stuff. So now I hope that our transfers will be up to date. Take a look at our transfer history. Oh, yeah, here we go. So, yeah. Okay, so it does have the guys that we waived. All right, so here's all the players that we drafted early in the season that we went through the whole draft. I got a couple of videos on all of these guys. Up until right here, Zach Steffen, Aha, Rosenberry, Shelton. We just saw those guys get drafted. Here's the guys that I let go from the team just before MLS roster cutdown day. And that's what's key, is if you cut these guys on roster cutdown day, you get rid of them, you get rid of their salary, you get rid of their entire existence. It's as if they never existed ever. So we got rid of Cody Cropper, Agba Simunde. I might have kept him, but his name is too hard to say. Newman, Blake Smith, Lasso, Cicerone, Seymour, Gibson, and Dekel Keenan. Dekel Keenan was like a very last minute, should I get rid of him or should I not? But I tried to take the captaincy away from him because he wasn't going to play. I mean, I played him in the final friendly of the year, and he was just awful. Balls were going over his head. He was too slow to catch up to any sort of defender. He wanted to be a coach anyway. Maybe we'll sign this guy as an assistant coach to make up for it. I don't know if he wants to. He's available on a free transfer. I don't know. He doesn't look like a very good general manager. How about, no, not a head coach. Assistant coach? Not really. I mean, he could be a defensive coach for us. That wouldn't be too terrible. So maybe we could look at signing him on as a coach, but he was done. His playing days were done. He was just holding on. Had to cut him, had to let him go. Even though he was tutoring our youngsters and stuff, forget about it, let him go. But the big thing that I was able to do, it's not on this list. It doesn't show up because it was such a weird thing. Let's see if it shows up on the loan deals. No, it doesn't show up on the loan deals. We had a loan player with a really, really bad contract. And because I didn't register him, I couldn't end the loan. It wouldn't let me end the loan. But because I didn't register him, that cut him from the roster, and that ended the loan. So it was like a force quit on the loan. Just Control-Alt-Delete that thing. And that worked out. So that freed up like $600,000 in salary cap. So that's why our salary cap was so good this season. It was just basically getting rid of that one guy, and then all those other little guys added up to, we had like $2 million in salary cap available, so no problem. So now we got to assign numbers to these guys and all that stuff. But let's go take a look at the tactics. We now have a wealth of players. Chris Clute, injured. Get out of here. Doesn't matter. You're dispensable now. I don't want to say that like that, but come on. Alash, he's injured. Too bad. Tolo is injured as well. So we got like a plethora of right backs now. Let's see who's better. There's Eric Miller. He's only a 2.5-star guy. Still pretty good, though. 13 strength, 13 jumping reach, 11 pace, 13 marking, 13 tackling, 14 heading, 13 crossing. Valued at $1.1 million. He's still really good. Keegan Rosenberry, though, is a 3.5-star guy. Much better rated. 25 years old. He's got a few more other abilities. You know, he doesn't have like the exact abilities where it counts, like that guy did. Forgot his name already. Miller had like the exact perfect fullback stats. Keegan Rosenberry is a little bit more of a well-rounded player. 1 year younger, valued at $3.7 million. So we can slide him in at right back. That's fine. Can move Miller up to the reserves, take over for Juarez. Hakugo had a bit of an injury. So we could, I mean, look at, Glad is still here. What is Glad worth now? He's valued at $3 million. We got him for $50,000 in allocation money and a 4th-round draft pick. That's pretty good. I mean, yeah, he's really good. Is he better than Jose? I don't know. I mean, Jose is a beast. He's a monster. Is he a ball-playing defender? He's a center back. I'm glad it's probably a ball-playing defender, right? No, he's a central defender. Anyway, we'll probably put Jose in there. Maybe try to trade Glad, you know, in the foreign transfer market. See if that works. We got a hole at central midfield. Didn't really pick up any central midfielders, unfortunately. So we're going to have to do something about that. But we still got Bessler on the bench. So that's good. And then I think we can put a Kogu on the bench. Even though he's a little banged up, we can put him on the bench. And we still have the question, I mean, Michael Barrios will bring him in at winger. Ledesma can go to the bench now, even though he's still a really good player, but he can play any position on that midfield. We need a striker for the reserves, so we now have Kiri Shelton we can bring in. Take out McLaughlin. Just raise that potential. I mean, Shelton's only a 3-star guy, but look at that. Look at those physicals. 15 pace, 14s everywhere else. Determination. I mean, he's technically not great, but as a pressing forward, he could even play target man. He can get in there, and he's better than any reserve we had. Even though he wants to be a first-team guy, that could be his issue. That could be why he got pushed out, because he's not really first-team material. So let's look at his contract info. Was it transfer status? Yeah, transfer status. Put him as rotation. But, I mean, there we go. We now have a pretty powerful lineup. You know, this is pretty good. We haven't even moved our goalkeeper in there. Let's see. So, Stefan for Snedden on the bench, and then Stefan for Hudson. That's going to cause some problems. I'm going to be honest with you right there. But Hudson, he's already dropped down to a 3-star potential guy. And Stefan is already a 4-star guy. So that's an improvement right there. Hudson is going to cause issues because he's a Generation Adidas player, #1 overall draft pick. He's not going to be happy about that move, but we'll see. We'll work that out. We now have Zach Steffen in goal, Romney, Marquez, Rosenberry. Probably should have picked up a left fullback, but instead of 2 right backs, what are you going to do? Bessler, Delgado, DeVries, Crispum, Barrios, and Adi up top. I mean, we just made our team a lot stronger. And I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. We cheesed it. We cheesed it a lot. So we'll see. Yeah. I'm going to end it there. I'm going to think about this, think about what I've done, and see if I should have some sort of penance or something. Or maybe the game will take care of itself. Maybe the game will look at all these new players and say, what are you doing? You just destroyed team chemistry. You're going to lose the next 6 games. We'll see. We'll see if the FM gods punish me for this or not. But until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.